Welcome to the Fear Chronicles, False Evidence Appearing Real, where we are covering real stories for navigating burnout, bold moves, and becoming your best self. I'm your host, Natasha Aga, private practice strategist, mother of two, and recovering perfectionist. This is the space where we get honest about the pivots, the pressure, and the purpose behind it all. If you're navigating life transitions, career shifts, motherhood, or learning to trust yourself again, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You've likely heard this before, and this is Newton's third law of motion. Now, every choice you make, every move you make, has a consequence or a reaction. If you changed nothing, you get nothing different. This episode is all about you, empowering you to reclaim control, your life, your practice. It's all what you make of it. You have the ability to create whatever it is that you want. You are the author of your life and you get to create your own adventure. What do you want it to be? To truly put yourself in the driver's seat of your life, it's helpful to be aware of and understand some universal principles that help you along the way. So, some of these you may be familiar with, and others you may not be. I have discussed many of them in previous episodes in different ways. So, what I'm going to do is connect some of the concepts or the episodes to help paint the picture. If you've been listening to this podcast and thinking, I know there's more for me, more alignment, more freedom, more clarity, that version of you, she already exists. And that is exactly the work we do inside the Private Practice Burnout Solution. This is where we move beyond surface level strategy and into the identity, energy, and systems needed to build a business that actually supports your life. If you're ready to become her now, you'll find more details on my website at natashaagaconsulting.co. So let's run through some of the universal laws. First, we have the law of opposites, which is the existence of dualities. So this is like light and dark, hot and cold, good and bad, which is all perception, right? Sometimes we experience contrast in life. When I talk about different stories, this is the lessons that we learn from, is usually through contrast. Next is the law of cause and effect, which is that every event has a cause and vice versa. Ultimately, this means that there are no coincidences or accidents. So, for as long as I can remember, I have always been a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So, this law is an extension of that. So, when I talk about this, this is when I say that life or things, they are happening for you, not to you. Next is the law of divine oneness, which is everything and everyone is deeply connected. So we are all connected on some level. So to make this more tangible, I'll often refer to, the 6 degrees of separation. That's the easiest way to kind of make that. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form, whether that is through familial connections, people who know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. Next is the law of vibration, which is everything is energy in constant motion, emitting frequencies. So for this, I talk more about this in great detail in my 3-part frequency series. So if you have not listened to it, I highly recommend you go back and listen, which is episode 27, 28, and 29. Next is the law of correspondence, which is the outer world reflects the inner world. And I discuss how your private practice is a mirror of you, an outward reflection of what is going on within you. Next is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, which is energy is consistently changing from one form to another because energy cannot be destroyed, but it can change form, right? It can be transmuted. So this I would also refer back to my three-part frequency series, but also I would highly recommend if you have not listened to episode 38, that is all about alchemizing burnout. Next is the law of relativity. Everything is neutral until compared to something else. Now, I highly recommend checking out episode 16, which talks about how everything is meaningless until we give it a meaning. Next is the law of rhythm, which is that life operates on rhythmic cycles and patterns, almost like a pendulum that swings back and forth, right? So for this, I would highly recommend checking out episode 21, where I discuss in greater detail the different seasons of life. Next is the law of gender, which is everything contains both masculine and feminine principles. Now, the most tangible way that I like to explain this one is when we think about our calendars. So, when I talk about why it's so incredibly important to create that balance, the balance between the work, the effort, the action, that which contrasts with the feminine energy, which is the rest, relaxation, and recovery. Next is the law of attraction, which is that like attracts like. So our energy and our focus attract corresponding experiences. So, all this talk, when I talk about your brain, this is why it's paramount to use your reticular activating system or your RAS to your benefit and using selective focus and attention with what you do want. All right? Because like attracts like. Next is the law of compensation, which is the law of karma, where the love, the results, the effort that we put out is returned to us. So, this is when I talk about when you are aligned and in alignment, you are fulfilling your purpose, you're actively pursuing your joy, you will be paid. Next is the law of inspired action, which is to take action that aligns with intentions, acting as a two-step dance with the universe. So I wrote out a little formula to make this make sense, right? So we've got aligned action, which is energy plus belief plus strategy, execution, right? And that is the formula to aligned action. All of these are in alignment. To help you collapse time, I'm going to add one more tool to your toolkit. Only affirm what you want to see. If you don't want it, don't think about it. Most importantly, don't say it. So, confirmation bias works both ways, both positively and negatively. When creating and choosing your own adventure, I want you to remember this. You don't get what you want, you get who you are. So, embodiment is paramount. You can't just want and wish for something and think that you're going to magically get it. You embody her now. Being comes first, doing comes second, and having is the result. I would love to hear from you any light bulb moments, insights, or takeaways from this episode. You can share with me on Instagram at Natasha Aga Consulting or comment below. For more strategies, insights, and resources to help you navigate your own journey, join my Fearless Alignment newsletter on my podcast page, natashaagaconsulting.co. I invite you to take my 2-minute Are You the Bottleneck quiz to find out who or what is slowing down your progress. It's fast, fun, and eye-opening, and I'll link that in the show notes below.
Thanks for joining me on the Fear Chronicles. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to like, comment, or share with someone who needs it. Want more support? Check out the links below for free resources, workshops, and how to work with me. Remember, bold moves start with small shifts. You've got this, and I've got you.